Exactly.
It's Set, and Set has to chime in.
What Set said. So yeah, here we are.
We had spoken earlier about you coming to your new pronoun that people are curious about and have questions about.
Yes.
Could you speak on that?
Absolutely. They do have questions about it, literally. So I came out as agender last year, late last year, and a lot of people were very supportive and understanding and stuff. I run with a good group. But I chose it as a preferred pronoun. I still go by they, them, but that is usually more for people who are uncomfortable using it. And people ask me a lot of questions about why I chose it and what does that even mean and all of that. And for me, honestly, it's literally above and beyond all of the many puns I now get to use, which brings me no small amount of joy. It allows me to kind of operate in my own sphere because, frankly, I don't always feel very human. And they, them feels very people-y. And sometimes I don't feel very people-y. And I just sort of feel like I'm this kind of amorphous fae being watching humanity do all the silly, cute things that humanity does from outside it, while still being able to participate in it. And it, for me, is not derogatory. It brings me no amount of, like, anger or resentment or bad feelings. It, for me, brings a lot of joy. And I am sort of in the process of taking it back, literally.
Fuck yeah.
And I encourage anybody who has questions about it as a pronoun to dig deep, especially if you're of the nerdy clan like I am. Think about it in D&D terms, where, you know, it's not it like a table, it's it like an eldritch being. You know, you wouldn't give Cthulhu a gender. So I don't want one either. But yeah, that's kind of where I came down with it.
Hey, Slippery Disc, thanks for joining us.
Hey, I know that handle.
How many questions have you gotten about the it pronoun?
My God. I would love to say a lot, but it's honestly the same one all the time. And it's phrased in a lot of different ways, but it mostly revolves around why. Like, why it? Why not they, them? Why is they, them not good enough? And for me, that's just, it's such a loaded question, because when it comes to gender and sexuality and your identity and how you see yourself, sexuality is about your relationship to other humans, to other people. And gender is just for you. Gender is for you and literally nobody else, in yourself, for yourself, and fuck what anybody else thinks, because they're not you. You know, and your sexuality and identity there can fluctuate depending on your gender identity or the gender identity of the people that you're attracted to. But your gender doesn't really fluctuate for yourself, because, like, you are who you are, and that's who you are, and that's for you alone. You know, so when people ask me why, like, I never really have a good answer for them, because for me it wasn't really a question. It was just, it just felt so natural. It made sense. It made sense. Literally. See?
Yeah.
God, puns are strong.
I see what you did there.
I don't even have to try. They just come out.
Oh, man. I think, I'm wondering if a lot of the discomfort that people have around the idea of someone choosing to use it as a pronoun, whether it makes them uncomfortable because they feel dehumanized.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know? I mean,
I get that as not as a question, but as a response when I talk about it. They're like, well, isn't that dehumanizing and what have you? And when I explain it in the, like, eldritch being, or, like, not a, you know, cartoonified version of, like, angels, but in the, like, true biblical be not afraid sense, like,
eyes everywhere.
Right, exactly. Fucking terrifying. And like, how do you gender a being like that? You can't. Because the big question that...
You're too busy shitting yourself.
Exactly.
Because holy fuck.
Exactly. Literally. Literally. And yeah, so when I explain it like that there are beings that are sentient and living and are beings and not objects, that people have no problem identifying as it, that can apply to people too. And that's not dehumanizing. Things are only dehumanizing when you use it to dehumanize a person. You could call somebody, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and, that's a cereal, but, like, if you use it in the right context, with the right intonation and intention behind it, it can absolutely hit the same way as, you are nothing. Like, it can be an insult. You can make anything an insult and hurt someone.
Oh, yeah. It's
don't...
all intention and tone.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The energy you put out into the universe.
Yeah. Ethical non-monogamy. You mentioned that you grew up in an ethically non-monogamous situation.
Yeah. Poly was in my family growing up, and so it was all very normalized for me. And I gotta tell you, it was a delightfully weird sort of privilege in a way, because in an ideal scenario, you have people who are supportive and comfortable and have intelligent conversations and ask questions and communicate with each other and all of that stuff. But I didn't realize that, like, not everybody does this and not everybody has this relationship with their family growing up, that as an adult now, I feel completely comfortable being exactly who the fuck I am in any given moment in my life. I never had to come out to my family, which is also a weird kind of privilege. I just showed up and I was like, you know what? Here's my boyfriend and my girlfriend, and we would like to go to dinner. And they were like, cool, we'll set up reservations. And I'm like, bet. My family gives, my partners presents for Christmas and their birthday. They get involved, they care, and, like, talking about my life experience like that with other people who have seen really, really terrible examples of non-monogamy, who are like, well, it's just cheating. And I'm just like, oh, I have so many opinions in so little time.
It's called compersion, motherfucker.
Compersion. Do you speak it? They
Exactly.
don't. They don't. And honestly, it all comes from a place of fear. And it takes a lot of, I hesitate to say patience, but that's the closest word I can get to at the moment.
But I mean, every relationship, you have to be patient with any relationship, with your boss, with your mom, with your dad. I mean, why would that not extend to the person that you choose as a partner in your life to be? My thing is that your partner is the person you prefer to spend the most of your life with, the most of your time. Right.
It's a special extra investment, both emotionally, and that's the thing too, is it boils down to how people define things. So, like, how do you define a relationship? Yeah. When someone said, I always hated the phrase, we're in a relationship. Because, and this might be my autism talking, but I was always like, what does that even mean? Like, what kind of relationship are you talking about? Now, most of the, like, modern westernized world assumes that in a relationship specifically means both a sexual and romantic partner. But I always resented the fact that people assumed that's what that means, because you're in a relationship of all kinds with every person you've ever met. It's a platonic relationship. It's a business relationship. It's a familial relationship. It's romantic. It's sexual. It doesn't have to be both. And partners can fall in all of those categories. Like, you can have a platonic partner and that still counts as a partner. Sex and romance doesn't define what it means to be in a relationship with somebody. You do. And, poly specifically allows me to be able to be in a variety of types of relationships that are not all the same, that are all fulfilling, and, like, I like to set a good example for people. Yeah. So I talk a lot about my life, and
Yeah.
and like that has honestly inspired people that I didn't expect it to inspire.
I think
I've gotten like random messages from people like, hey, I just want to let you know I did some research and I looked some stuff up. I think I might be poly. I have questions. And I'm like,
awesome.
you know, I am by no means an expert. I don't have any degrees in any of this shit. This is literally just all like my own first person lived experience, you know, and I don't want people to think, you know, I'm trying to tell them what to do. I can only speak from what I know about myself. And it's been so gratifying for people like, exactly, like Slippery Disc, thank you. They were one of the people that came to me and was like, hey, so you said some stuff, and got me thinking.
Awesome.
And honestly, that's just what I want, is to help inspire people to think and become self-aware.
Yeah.
And like put intention out into the world, you know, and not just float around in the fishbowl.
and I would go so far as to say that is activism as well.
I will agree with that.
You are actively changing your presence as you move through the world.
Yeah.
You're making yourself safer and more comfortable and compassionate. And in that way, you then provide a positive idea of what a human being can be.
Absolutely.
When they decide to stop choosing social violence in the way they speak.
Yeah.
And in the way they present themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
It gets really difficult when, you know, I understand that fear begets fear begets fear begets anger, begets violence, you know, and none of that shit's necessary. And honestly, I feel like a healthy amount of apathy goes a long way when it comes to your journey and figuring out who you are in this world. Yeah. Because honestly, the second you start giving a single flying fuck what somebody else who doesn't know you thinks about you, you are going to stall any amount of progress or realization that you are going to ever get to, because you are now basing your identity on other people's opinions of you.
And realize that person gets a snapshot of your life, a moment. And in that moment, they've decided a variety of things.
Yeah. And so many things.
And depending on whether those things either fall in the positive or the negative, that's how they're going to roll at you or with you. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
And if people are rolling at you, you need to leave.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like, we don't all have to roll in the same direction, but just because somebody else is rolling in a direction that you're not rolling in doesn't mean their direction is wrong. Yeah. It just means it's different. And the problem is that people take their insecurities, their pain, their fear, and they turn it around and project it out onto other people because they're afraid. Yeah. And they get defensive, and they, you know, literally all any human being wants is like safety and security and head pats. Like, that's it. It's so pure and simple. Like, we just want to be loved and told that we're good enough and that we're pretty, and then feed us and have a place to sleep that's nice. Yeah, you know, right? It's very like simple needs and wants, and we get so wrapped up in what other people are doing with their lives that we don't really get to look out for ourselves, and we lose everything that we're trying to work for. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's crazy.
Once you start chasing someone else's idea of you, you lose yourself.
Exactly. And that actually, like, my whole journey with, you know, being agender brought up a lot of conversations about gender as a concept. You know, like, what even is gender, like, as a thing, you know? And the best way that I figured, like, I could get people to think about that conceptually was to ask them to describe their gender to me. And after enough times of listening to people talk about how they identify with their gender, I realized that nobody ever gave me any answers that didn't reference either their genitalia or their outward physical appearance. How they dress, how they have their hair, what, you know, makeup they wear or not, like all of these things. And somebody, somewhere in the distant past, whoever that fuck was, decided that this
Fucking
thing...
Beau Brummel. It's all Beau Brummel's fault. Fuck that guy.
This thing is masculine. This thing is feminine. This is associated with this, and this is associated with this. This table is masculine, but the chair is feminine. And like, and I could be wrong. Don't come at me in the comments. I'm not like... Anyway, but... And sometimes it's different for different languages. But like, the best way I heard it described recently was that, like, I am tuned in to a walkie-talkie channel, like a radio channel, and I don't really hear a lot of other people's channels. It just kind of comes and goes in and out, and so I catch bits and pieces. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm kind of in my own little space, this world. Yeah. And the radio doesn't really translate the gender part in the channels that other people are in. So it's like I didn't get that patch, you know? Like if I was a software code, I didn't get the gender plugin. I didn't come with it out of the box. So whenever people are talking about like what is gender, why is this feminine, why is this masculine, who decided these things for us, and why do we continue to perpetuate them? None of that ever made any sense to me, you know? And like growing up in the era of shit like the pink tax and all of these like advertisements for, you know, the girl version of this or the boy version of this. And it's like, can it just be a fucking butt wipe or like a razor? Or like, does it have to be gendered somehow to make it better or like more efficient or like, no. And it can be pink. It doesn't have to, like, none of these choices made sense to me. And then when I asked people, like, well, what does it even mean to be a girl? What does it mean to be a boy? I don't understand who made up these rules. I wasn't in that meeting. I wasn't in the pitch meeting for that, and I disagree with everybody's ideas. But hard same. Yeah, but I also don't want to be preachy because, again, gender is for you. It's for me to decide. So I don't get to tell someone else, you're wrong because you think you're a girl. Like, girl doesn't exist. Like, that's not a thing. Like, I don't get to do that because their gender is not about me. So they get to decide what they are and what that means to them, full stop. And I get zero input about any of that. It's none of my... Like, it's none of my business. It's not my wheelhouse. Like, I unresentfully don't deserve to be there. You know? Yeah. And, like, people aren't respecting other people's spaces where they get to think about that stuff for themselves. They feel compelled to tell other people who they are. And they don't let them have that journey themselves and ask questions and learn. They just want to tell.
Well, I mean, it's the brain is lazy as fuck.
Oh my god, yeah.
The brain likes repetitive shit. Yeah. And the brain really likes pigeonholing things. And so
we need categories. We gotta organize stuff.
We need hierarchy and we need structure to understand things. And that will be our downfall.
Oh my god, yes. And Avalon, you make a really good point. The assigned gender at McDonald's drive-thru Happy Meal toy. Good Christ. Yeah, hey, I loved Hot Wheels. I loved Legos growing up. I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid until I realized that I don't like math. And that requires way too much math. So I went interior design instead because that's the artsy-fartsy shit.
I wanted to be a helicopter pilot, but same thing, math.
Right. Fuck. Yeah, fucking math, man. Eludes me.
I know, right? Ooh.
But yeah, it's like, it's the Happy Meal toys. It's the shoes. It's the, like, you know, and individually all of these elements, you know, we've collectively socially agreed that, like, this is masculine or this is feminine. But, like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And when I say I don't understand, I don't need someone to try to explain it to me, you know? And, like, I know that we are very creative beings, us humans. Oh, yeah. We will come up with all kinds of shit to, like, define and articulate and justify and categorize and, like, because we need to explain our world to each other because that's how we communicate, because we're pack animals. We can't do this by ourselves. We need each other in order to, like, make this work. So we can't spend all of our time and energy isolating ourselves from each other by, you know, trying to tell each other who the other person is. And instead, we need to, like, collaborate, don't compete. You know? Yes. I get so sensitive about competition because, like, on the one hand, have never felt like I was good enough at something that I would proactively volunteer to compete in it. You know, like I like doing things, but I've never either loved doing something so much or felt like I was so good at something that I'm like, I need to compete. I need to be better at this thing than all of these other people. Like I didn't
competing.
No competitive streak whatsoever. I
actually get a little nauseous when I think about competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not at all comfortable for me. It's not a place where my heart and soul is comfortable. And I get that competition is really comfortable for other people.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if this is a autism thing or an ADHD thing, but
or both.
The idea of competition,
yeah,
it's like nails on a blackboard.
Yeah.
I want to collaborate. I want to cooperate. I want to do the whole community thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I like, even though that's okay. So we want to talk about misconceptions here.
Yes.
That's a great segue.
Oh, sweet.
Community and stuff. So one of the questions that I get a lot about, ethical non-monogamy, I'll just call it poly because it's less syllables. But poly is only one very small subset of the ENM or CNM. If you're talking consensual non-monogamy, they kind of use the acronym here and there interchangeably. Umbrella, there's a lot of different other shit, and poly's just like one of them. But like the thing about poly that I get more questions about than anything else is, besides the whole jealousy thing, we'll talk about that in a second, is the like community, the like, you know, there's so many people involved. How do you manage that many people in your life? I bet it gets complicated. And like, how do you support each other without like crossing boundaries and like all of these things? And it really just boils down to communication. And
oh my God, yes.
When people who are, you know, like die hard monogamy forever kind of people, they don't understand that poly is literally exactly the same rules and requirements. There's just more people involved. It still requires honesty. It still requires respect. It still requires trust and communication and loyalty and blah, like all of the same things that you need to have a successful monogamous relationship. You need to have a successful poly relationship. You know, there's just more people to organize. There's more calendars involved.
The thing that bothers me is that there are a whole lot of people who seem to think that a heterosexual relationship, a heterosexual monogamous relationship is you're trapped.
Right.
And you can't ever get out.
Right. It's like,
and it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. If one or the other of you is not feeling it anymore, why would you keep trying to force it? And then it just gets unhappy and exhausting.
They turn it into a punishment.
Yeah.
More than a reward.
And I yelled, and I'm sorry if that clipped.
You know, they treat it like a punishment, you know. Yeah, exactly. Like the old ball and chain. You know, I am married, and I married a man. And I know I look like a woman, but if you've been just coming into the stream, I'm not one. Or I don't identify as one. But like
I do not identify as one either. I am non-binary.
So like to the outside world, my husband and I just look like a normal, straight, you know, cishet couple walking down the street. But like on the inside, we are way more squirrely than that, you know? And so you can't always see that shit from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there are so many ways to feel obligated and trapped in a relationship. And it doesn't matter how many people are involved in the relationship. That stuff is going to happen. Yeah. And no relationship should be forced to continue if it's not working. And you're hurting people instead of making them happy.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when, you know, I've had quite a handful of friends recently, actually, within the last handful of years, who have, their relationships have ended. And some of them, that person ended it. Some of them, the other person ended it. So it came in from both sides. But, like, I realized that I have sort of a different reaction to that kind of stuff than I guess I'm used to hearing, where if someone says, oh, I broke up with so-and-so or so-and-so broke up with me, my initial reaction isn't like, oh my God, that's so bad. I'm so sorry. That sucks. It's like, is that good or bad?
I do the same thing. I'm like, are you?
It's well, it's honestly very, it's congratulations or I'm sorry. I don't know in what context you are telling me this information, and I don't want to respond to the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, give me something. But like, if there's a married couple and they get divorced, that's a breakup plus paperwork and money and legal ties, and it's very fucking complicated.
And if there are kids involved.
And if there's kids involved or property.
Oh yeah.
It gets so hinky.
Yeah.
But like,
and it's already traumatic as fuck because the relationship is over.
Exactly.
And one of you knows that it's done, but
exactly.
It's like pulling along a dead puppy.
Exactly.
That you really loved. But
yes,
you have to,
like your childhood puppy.
You have to keep pulling the puppy for like, I don't know, there's a rule, maybe 6 months.
Right, minimum.
Holy shit.
Right. It's like because people are just afraid. Everybody's afraid. Yeah. And that makes everybody do stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so like when relationships end, and
I have been a crazy person in relationships.
We've all been that bitch before. Nobody is immune to being the bad one in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like we've all fucked up before.
Oh yeah.
But like especially with poly, when you've got like all of these overlapping connections of people, not all those relationships are going to last forever. Yeah. People are going to break up or start dating different people, and your web, your polycule is going to shift and change and all of that stuff. And being able to maturely and kindly and compassionately cope with loss, breakups, and relationships means that when you get more people involved, not only do you have a support group of like metas and, all of these people who are there to like help you through it, you're also there for them. So like it's this give and take, and it creates its own kind of community. And a healthy polycule can be such a blessing on your entire life. I know that there are not the same levels of investment in other people's lives. Like people talk about kitchen table poly and stuff like that. And like, I really love being involved in the lives of the people that I care about. So when my partners and their partners, my metas, and, when everybody's having a good time, I want to celebrate that. If they start dating somebody new, I want to get to know them. I want to drag them out to karaoke with me and, like, have a good time. I don't need to date them. I don't need to be their bestie. I don't need to be anything specific to them except a safe place. And so I feel really happy when we can create a community where we all support each other, because then we can all be each other's safe places. Yeah. And that just creates more safe places.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like if any world needs more safe places, it's this fucking world.
Holy shit.
Well,
I think the biggest problem that a lot of people have who are locked into a heteromonogamous ideal is that there is an idea that relationship is somehow safe instead of fraught with conflict because of the way it's designed.
Yeah.
And when you actually start realizing that with a healthy person, you can have a conversation about anything.
Literally anything.
And they won't hit you.
Yeah.
They won't yell at you.
Yeah.
They won't threaten or terrorize you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll either go, that's an uncomfortable topic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to talk about that. Wow, you just communicated clearly.
Yeah, look at you. You were honest with me about how you feel.
and everything about heteronormativity and about monogamy is about deception.
Yeah.
It's about
I don't get that.
I don't either. Your entire life is, well, there are certain things about me that I don't want people to know, and
right.
Like, that's okay, but
sure, but why?
With your I mean, are they really embarrassing? Do you feel bad?
Right.
Maybe go to therapy?
Yeah.
But,
God,
but
the
the
number
kind
of
of
times
polycule.
maybe go to therapy is usually the answer.
Oh my God. The being in a polycule, I imagine it's what humanity could be like if we all decided to come to the table,
Yes,
and let go of our preconceived ideas, our prejudices,
our fear.
all of the fears we have about living outside of the normative.
Absolutely. It is such, like, I realize and I understand I am the dirty, idealistic hippie. Like, I know what world we live in, and I know it's a fucking tragedy right now.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of shit happening in the world, and even at our front door, that is not fucking okay.
Oh, yeah.
And there is very little that a lot of us can do about it. So what I choose to do about it is to build more love, rather than trying to figure out a way for me, a little person, to fight this fucking conglomerate that we've created to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
I would rather choose to live in the pockets of love that I've been able to create in my life and just enjoy that while I'm still alive to do it. Yeah. You know, because I don't know what's going to happen after I die. Like, I could come back as a house cat. I hope I could come back as a house cat, because that would be dope as fuck. But, like, so all I can do is enjoy the time that I have right now for however long that is. And I'm not going to waste a single second of that pretending to be anybody except who the fuck I am. Yeah. And I don't have the time or the spell slots to, like, you know, fight anybody about it. You know, you don't get to tell me that, just like I don't get to tell you that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
We just need to love each other and get along. It's not that hard. It is hard. That's a lie. It's really difficult.
I mean, you've got this built-in mentality.
We're the worst.
You got this built-in mentality that is so damaging and that is so toxic, and it just creates this disaster that has caused just trauma for generations.
Ugh.
Because of the way that men, women, and children have been treated. Yeah. And I think the grace of humanity is that each successive generation has gotten a little better, because we've looked back and gone, holy fuck, that's awful. Right. We should probably.
Exactly.
And I really think in a long enough timeline, we win. Yeah. As a species, we win because we understand that community is what sees us through this.
Yeah. We can't do this alone, literally. We, you know, and there were absolutely times where it felt like isolating myself was the answer. Oh, yeah. Or I had something that was like super embarrassing or scary trauma. Like, I'm still finding out trauma that I have, you know, 30 plus years into my life. And I'm like, oh shit, that's what that's from? Fuck. Yeah. I thought I got all of those. Oh, yeah. You know, like, you never know what's going to come your way. So it's really important to, like, have that support system, you know, and you can't build a support system if you don't let anybody in. And you can't let anybody in if, like, everybody's just worried about what everybody else is going to take from them.
Yeah, it's a very I'm so high I can't think of it.
so high can't even.
But I think the biggest problem is that if you can't be vulnerable with another human being in your life, like really vulnerable, there is a level to existence that you are missing out on.
Yeah, it's like a whole chapter.
It's and no movies talk about it, you know, some books talk about it, but it is when you are able to be like open and vulnerable and meet somebody where they are and understand that where you are, they are, and they both want to be there. Yeah. And it is immense. Please try to find at least one person in your life that you can get truly vulnerable with. Yeah. Because I really think that that's the way society gets out of this. Yeah. Instead of having to hire therapists and paying psychological institutions to teach everybody how to fucking communicate.
We should be teaching ourselves. Yeah. Like, honestly, therapists are so important now, but they are a thing that I really desperately wish we didn't need.
Oh my God, me too.
Because we'd be able to communicate with each other, and like there are burdens and boundaries that shouldn't be crossed, but part of communicating with other people is laying those boundaries. So, you know, like saying, oh, you know, you wouldn't want your friend to be your therapist. Like, cool, yeah, but that's about respect and boundaries, which is, something you talk about in therapy.
Yeah, there's a difference between conversation and sharing an emotion or a situation that you have, you know, you need to talk about, and trauma dumping.
Exactly.
There's a huge difference.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? That actually... unrelated segue with the trauma dumping thing. One of the things that I struggle with a lot when I'm talking about you know, gender and, you know, sexuality and poly and stuff is that like people want to tell me that like trauma dumping is obviously like an extension of this, like, you want to say things at me, but I don't know whether you need solutions, feedback, advice, or if you just need to vent. Because one of the biggest hiccups in human relationships is being able to tell what the other person wants from you in that engagement, in that sentence, in that conversation. So, like, if your friend, partner, whoever, if person is upset, and they just start telling you all these things that make them upset, and they just go in and go in and go in, and you're like, well, how about this? And they just keep going, and you're like, well, what about this? And they put it down and keep going. Like, that would cause a fight in a relationship.
Yep.
You know, because this person wants to help, but this person just wants to vent, and neither of them had that conversation beforehand. And, spoiler alert, sometimes you don't even know what you want.
Oh my God.
You know, you don't figure out that you just wanted to vent until halfway through doing it. And then and you have to learn how to recognize when that's happening, know that that's a thing that happens, and then figure out how to handle it with the person that you were talking to in the room together. You know, and you can't do that if you're just talking at the person the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, one of the key ways that we can help better our relationships with each other is to check in with each other, ask questions, be vulnerable.
Yes.
You know, what would you like from me in this moment? If they can't answer it, that's okay, but at least now they're thinking about it, and they're going into the conversation with a little more intention and a little less impulse. You know? And I kind of think that's what we need.
I think that, man, before I hit this realization, when somebody asked, what do you need in this moment, I'd be like, I don't fucking know.
Right, I don't know what I need. I know, but now you're going to be thinking about it. And maybe you can tell me in like 10 minutes.
And then I was like, wait a minute. I started doing some heavy duty, I started my shadow work.
Yeah.
Hardcore 5 years ago. And holy shit, when you know what you need and you know what you want, man, talk about big dick energy.
Oh my God, the hugest dick energy. 100%.
Yeah, it's just
big genderless dick energy.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, I think the thing is that a lot of us, we never really figure out who we are, because we tailor who we are to our environment so that we can survive.
Hashtag masking.
Because it is fucking horrifying out there.
It's scary as fuck out there.
I remember high school. I was on Ritalin for 9 years, and it was just like being social was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going off into a...
Yeah, that's a whole other corner.
Kind of getting into the weeds with that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's honestly just people trying to get to know each other and be vulnerable. You know?
Actually, the desire to actually want to know someone better. Instead of that being code for I want to stick my dick in something.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's if you want a relationship, you know, you kind of got to assume that you like this person, but you don't know why you like them.
Right.
So you want to get to know them.
Figure that out, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so many people just skip past that because it is inconvenient or uncomfortable or scary.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm not
it isn't not those things. Yeah. It's just not a good enough reason not to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it is all those. It can be both. You know? Yeah, it's scary, but it's important.
If you push past that, the kind of social freedom that you will feel is immense.
Mm-hmm. It's liberating as fuck.
It really is.
It sort of makes me feel a little conceited sometimes, but it recently, and by recently I mean within the last 5 years, one of my therapists helped me come to a very important realization, and I was kind of in a rut for a bit, between the difference between arrogance and confidence. You know, I was struggling a little bit, with my, self-esteem definitions and, what am I? What do I want? What do I care about? All this shit.
Yeah.
And I always felt like arrogance came in around, I am the shit and everybody agrees with me. And no, it's the opposite. Confidence, this is the thing. Because I got the retraining, so now my brain's like, no, that's wrong. No, confidence is I'm the shit and everybody agrees with me. And arrogance is I'm the shit and nobody agrees with me. That was my understanding of the difference between these two things.
Yeah.
So whenever, somebody would want me to talk about myself and my accomplishments, be proud of myself and talk about me, I would always be really close-chested about it, because I'm just what if nobody agrees with me? Then I'm just being an asshole. But honestly, what my therapist at the time helped me realize was that honestly, confidence is I'm the shit. And arrogance is I'm the shit and I'm going to put other people down to keep myself up here.
Ooh.
You know?
Ooh.
And
okay,
ever since, and I was like, holy shit, this bitch is good. She was just like, confidence is I know who I am and I love myself and I think I'm great. I'm the tits. And arrogance is I'm better than literally all of you.
Ooh,
It's got that negative, dismissive energy. Confidence is literally and ever since then I've just been bring everybody onto the confidence table with me. There's room for everybody up here.
Oh yeah.
I don't need anybody to be down here for me to be up here. I'm holding myself up.
Yeah.
And being able to do that makes it so much easier to build connections with people. And allow myself to be vulnerable without feeling shame. That's another plugin I missed. I missed the gender plugin and I missed the shame plugin. I feel so weird saying it, but I don't think I have ever legitimately felt ashamed of myself or who I am or what I like or what I look like or any of that stuff. And to hear other people talk about shame makes me so fucking angry, because I'm like, who the fuck hurt you? Can I punch them in the fucking face? How dare?
Yeah.
I get so mad and I want to help them, because shame is such for me, it's such a useless concept. When it comes to identity and who I am, not I did something super inappropriate and I should feel remorse because that was not cool.
Yeah, that is
or I hurt somebody. Not that, but about who you are as a person. You should not feel ashamed about who you are as a person. And if people would just stop shaming each other and then stop shaming themselves, then maybe we'll be able to crawl out of this fucking hole we've dug ourselves into.
Yeah.
And be able to reach each other a little bit.
Yeah. No, I
more love.
I think that more conversations like this need to happen between friends, between family,
everybody.
It just the more that you're able to become vulnerable and let somebody catch you.
Yes.
It's just. And it takes practice.
Yeah.
Because it's horrifying. So many of us have had nightmarish experiences with other people. It doesn't matter. Gender is indeterminate.
Yeah. We're all the worst.
Right? and recovering from that means finding people that it is safe to be vulnerable with. So that you can fall and they can catch you. It's that trust fall thing.
Yeah.
Only emotional.
Exactly. And vice versa. You have to be there to catch someone else.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be their safe space, just like you need them to be your safe space.
Yeah.
We got a web going here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one of those elementary school, PE games where you just, link up together and form this, net of children, I guess.
Yeah.
We're all there to, hold each other.
Yeah.
We should be.
Yeah. I think
we're severely slacking on that front.
Yeah. I think that more people are kind of waking up to it. I'm starting to see more TikTok videos and more people on Blue Sky, which is...
What is Blue Sky?
Okay, so Blue Sky is so Jack sold Twitter,
right?
Shitter, now it is, to that person whose name I will not name because he is not a good person.
Fuckface.
And he decided to fuck off with the money and create Blue Sky, which is the answer to Twitter. And
oh yeah, actually, yeah, I have seen something about that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an abattoir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're at all right leaning, yeah, hold your gonads, man. It's a rough ride.
Oh so. Yeah. All right. Strap in.
But I see more and more people having the needful conversations.
Good. I like that. Like my family uses that word needful as well a lot because like it's so true. Like these are conversations we should be having with our family, our kids at an appropriate age. Like, you know, everybody should be talking about this stuff because this is all the human experience.
Oh yeah.
This is all the same shit that, you know, guaranteed there is at least one other person on this earth that is going through exactly or almost exactly what you're going through. And even if you will never meet them for the rest of your life, for me, just knowing that makes me feel a little less alone.
Yeah.
And
it's important to talk about your experience because there are so many kids, and like I'm 56. There are so many old people. There are older people.
Yeah.
Who it's a struggle, but it's a necessary struggle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Ice Falcon's in the chat. Hey.
Hi, Ice Falcon.
Hello.
Ice Falcon. How's it going?
Awesome.
Yay.
I've been really digging all the chat engagement so far.
Right?
You guys are asking some good questions, making some good comments.
Yeah, you are. Let's scroll back a little because I think there was, in the beginning, we had... One can never fully know another with regards to what groups they fit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was when we were talking about like people only know like a small sliver of who you are.
Exactly. It's
they
very
meet
much
you in a very
snapshot.
specific context
Yeah.
in your life, and you're not that person 100% of the time. So you have to be able to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
And that may not be 100% of that person. So there's absolutely guaranteed things you don't know about people.
And that's why we get to know people. Because you have no idea what... And honestly, morals and values, are important.
Yes.
Because if the things that you feel very deeply about conflict with your partner, it is not going to work.
Right.
It is not going to work.
Absolutely. And that, like, again, with monogamy, that is factual. With poly, that is factual times however many people are in that web. You know, it makes it so much more complex because, you know, what happens if you're with this partner for a long time and you really bond and gel, and, you know, then you have this partner who comes in and all of a sudden there's a deal breaker kind of moment. You know, let's say these two partners became friends at some point in your relationship with each of them, like you're a hinge, you know, and then one of those relationships ends. You know, do they stop being friends? Do they stop talking to each other just because you two aren't dating anymore? Like, you know, all of these intricate relationships are all themselves their own separate individual relationships between those people also.
Yeah.
You know, because you've got your relationship with this partner, and then your relationship with this partner, and then their relationship with each other is metas, and then their partners, and on, and your relationship with this person. And, like, they're all a very chaotically knit sweater. You know, that we all wear together, and it's constantly moving and changing shape, and sometimes it's too big, and sometimes it's too small. Sometimes it's the wrong texture or color or whatever, but, like, you're always adding to it and changing it to try to make it fit the best. You know, and popular misconception, even though I'm probably way too young to be able to say this from a first-person perspective, you don't actually really know who you are until you die. Oof. You know, like every single day that you're alive, you are constantly changing and evolving. Mm-hmm. You are a new person today than you were yesterday and the day before. And you will be a completely different person on the day you die than the day before that. Mm-hmm. You know, so like,
if you're lucky,
yeah,
you will be a completely different person.
Yeah.
Because there are people who go through life mm-hmm. and they don't question anything,
just stagnant,
and they just do,
mm-hmm.
and that's okay as long as they don't push that shit on me.
Exactly,
I'm fine.
Exactly,
if that's the way you want.
If that makes them happy, cool,
awesome.
Yeah,
you know, but don't make it everybody else's problem.
Yeah, and like, don't let yourself absorb the stress and pressure of having to finally have figured yourself out.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, okay, I'll get my shit together. Honey, your shit is never going to be all the way together mm-hmm. at any point in your life. You're going to have some of your shit together over here, mm-hmm. and this shit's going to be all over the place, and you're going to have this shit together and this shit together, but not at the same time, mm-hmm. because they're related to each other. You know, like, you will never achieve full, perfect homeostasis, and I understand that that's scary as fuck. Mm-hmm. But...
That is part of being here.
Exactly. It is the human experience. And mm-hmm. so all you can do is chase your joy, be kind to people, love people as much as you can, love yourself as much as you can, let other people love themselves as much as they can, and mind your own fucking business.
And get off my lawn.
And get off my fucking lawn. Exactly.
Oh, man. I am, my idea of an ideal society is one where every being has dignity.
Yes.
Every being is safe.
Yeah.
And every being has a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so far from that.
I know.
And it's heartbreaking because we're all very connected with each other in ways that we don't understand. We are all part of this great weave of life on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there are people who are going to tell you that this is how it's been for generations, but motherfuckers, dinosaurs walk the earth.
And that's not a good enough reason.
You know?
Just because we did it before doesn't mean that's what we need to do going forward.
Yeah.
Change is inevitable. Change is necessary.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep, we kept people in asylums. That wasn't fucking okay.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and there's a lot of change that has happened, mm-hmm. and there is still change that is coming. Mm-hmm. And my hope is that we're going towards change where everybody's included.
Yes.
Where everybody has what they need to thrive.
Yes.
So that we can see the best of everyone, of what everybody brings to life.
Yes.
Instead of violence
mm-hmm.
and aggression.
Yeah.
And abuse.
Mm-hmm. Needless hatred.
Yeah.
Born out of fear. Because somebody was shitty to them, mm-hmm. because somebody was shitty to them, and like back in the cycle. Yeah. Whoever was the first person to be shitty to somebody, like, I'm glad they no longer exist because they're too old, because fuck that person. They really set up a shitty domino effect for the rest of us.
Oh yeah. And it really is essential to learn yourself mm-hmm. as best you can. When you know what you want mm-hmm. and you know what you like, mm-hmm. you become a human lie detector.
Yeah.
It's really weird and cool. Because when someone starts harshing whatever you want, mm-hmm. you can then either, I'm going to go have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Or after the conversation, either, you know, you can figure out what you want to do, or maybe don't have the conversation. But,
yeah.
But learning happens when you're uncomfortable.
Yes.
The most powerful and the kind of learning that stays with you happens when you're really uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And it takes practice to have the uncomfortable conversations. It takes practice to do the uncomfortable thing.
Yeah. God, like, actually, that reminds me a little bit. You talking about, you know, being uncomfortable. And my first thought was like, a lot of people need to learn to be okay being uncomfortable. And like, not that you seek out discomfort or anything. But pour one out for the masochists out there. But, you know, that you be at peace in discomfort. You know, and that reminded me, you know, that like when I get stressed or even touched, sometimes it doesn't always happen for like a negative feeling, but like when I feel a big emotional feeling, I cry. Not necessarily like big, ugly cry, heaving sobs or anything, but like my face leaks. And I know this is a thing that my face does when I'm stressed, when I'm tired, when I'm hangry, when I'm, you know, happy because I watched a puppy video, like, you know, all kinds of times. But like, I can't stop it. I can't not cry. I can't hold it back. You know, it just happens. And so when if I ever do that around somebody in a conversation, it weirds them out because they're like, oh my God, you're crying. We need to do something about this right now. And I'm like, no, we don't. And they're like, but you're crying. And I'm like, it's my body's way of processing. It's a way to regulate my nervous system. You know, it's my body's just like, this shit needs to go. And this is the closest hole, I guess. You know, but it took me a long time to get to the point where I didn't immediately feel worse for being unable to control my own crying in that moment, because crying is manipulation. Crying is cheating. Crying is like, if you cry in a conversation, especially if you look like a woman, God forbid, it's the worst thing you could possibly do. You know, and so I carried that stigma, that social burden with me. So I got very self-conscious anytime I got stressed, and I would start to cry, and I'd be like, oh fuck, now I'm crying. Oh fuck, now they're gonna think that, but, and it just sent me in a spiral. But once I was able to become comfortable feeling uncomfortable about the fact that I was crying and I couldn't fucking stop it, I was able to not panic as much, and in those conversations allow it to go forward and still be productive. It didn't stop just because I was uncomfortable and I didn't know how to deal with it. I allowed myself to be uncomfortable, and that is what allowed the rest of the conversation to go forward.
Vulnerability is a superpower. Holy shit.
It is. It takes so long, and it's so hard to get there, but once you get there, oh my God, what a payoff.
Oh yeah. It's
risky, but worth it.
It really is. The levels of conversation and intimacy and sharing I'm having with the other people in my life, it's breathtaking. I didn't think humans could do this.
Right. We are capable of so much shit if we would just get out of our own damn way.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
We hold ourselves back more than anybody else does.
Oh yeah. And we hold ourselves back with genitals.
Right.
For fuck's sake.
Of all the fucking things.
Like aliens landing, really? That's your entire
That's what your
legal system is based around genitals?
That's what you care about? Wow, that's so basic.
Yeah, Carl, start the ship. We're getting the fuck out.
Right, exactly. Jesus Christ. Surprise, it's just tentacles down there.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Right.
Eldritch being, call back.
Indeed. Indeed. Well done.
Yeah. I'm proud of myself. I wasn't sure I'd get there.
Avalon Dawson said breaking the cycle is really difficult but can be done when you want to. Yes,
absolutely.
100%.
And it's okay to not be ready.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many people I talk to, like, you know, my partners and my friends and my family, you know, who are struggling in different places in their lives about different things, about, you know, well, I'm not ready to whatever. You know, I'm not, and that is okay. Like, if you're not ready, it's totally okay to not be ready to make a change or, you know, take a risk or, you know, have a uncomfortable conversation with somebody or, you know, reach out and be vulnerable. But, like, you can be ready if you want to be ready, you know? So, like, if you're not ready now, that's cool, but don't, like, take that off the table for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself the opportunity to be ready someday, and that will help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a difficult journey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And we can't do it alone. We have to do it together.
Oh, yeah. And being able to create the web of support through shared vulnerability and support and compersion.
Yes.
Is so important. important.
God, I love compersion. Jesus.
I do too.
Like, I remember a couple of years ago, when I on my Facebook, which is a black hole. Yeah, things get buried almost immediately. I post so much shit.
Same.
You know, I talked a lot about compersion specifically as a feeling. And, like, I feel like if I could describe what brings me the most joy in my life as it relates to my relationships with other people in my life, it's compersion. I find the most amount of joy when the people I care about are doing good, have good things, meet new people, doing exciting shit,
amazing.
Getting promotions.
Yeah.
Like, fucking go off, do you. I want to see my people doing well, and I am happy when they are happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't get wrapped up in my own head about, you know, maybe me very specifically, individually not being all of the reasons that they're happy. You know, I choose to celebrate in their happiness because that will make them happy, and if they're happy, I'm happy. So really, it's just selfish, because I want to be happy. You know? And honestly, that's part of relationships, too, is like, you want to make people happy, because when they're happy, that makes you happy, and if you're happy, they're happy, and if they're happy, you're happy, and it creates a beautiful cycle.
And if you don't want your partner to be happy, I think it's time to ask yourself why.
Right. Why?
Why wouldn't you want your partner to be happy? And to feel comfortable and at ease with themselves and at ease in their place in the world. Why wouldn't you want that?
Right. You want you should want the best things for your partner.
Yes. You should want the best things in life for everybody.
Yeah,
really?
and they should want that for you. And you know what? Like, if anybody is ever, like, questioning their relationship, like, and they don't feel comfortable asking those questions to their partner, like, #1 red flag.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you are trying to, you know, because there's all sorts of levels and flavors of relationships. You know, not all of them are deep emotional investments. But, like, if that is the kind of relationship you are looking for with that person, and they won't let you get there. Yeah. Or you won't let them get there, and they want that from you. Like, you need to, it's okay to take another look at the fucking relationship. And it's okay if that relationship is not working anymore. Oh, yeah. Especially over time. You know? If you have partnerships that last a really long time, especially if you started seeing them when you were younger, you know, you've lived a lot of life with them, you have a lot of history together, and nostalgia and history can leave a person stuck in a relationship that's no longer fulfilling for them. And, like, that's scary as fuck, because, like, where do you go from there? Like, you spent, you know, 20 years with this person. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you two are two completely different people than you were back then. And what do you do with that? Are you two still compatible now? That's the question. Yeah. You know, and people get scared to have those conversations because at the beginning of the relationship, it wasn't set up to be something that was, like, commonplace and normalized in that relationship. Yeah. Because otherwise they would have talked about it back then, and they'd be able to continue talking about it over the course of the relationship rather than going, oh my God, I have questions about our relationship, but I don't feel comfortable saying anything. Like, then why the fuck are you with them? Yeah. Like, get out. Just, you can do better. There are so many people in this world. Yeah. If you feel like you can do better, you can probably do better. Oh, yeah. You know?
And I know that people poo-poo when someone says it doesn't matter about what you look like. It 100% does not matter.
Listen, oh my God.
You get when you're able to find that kind of a connection with another human being. Yeah. The appearance of the meat suit they're walking around in.
Our flesh vehicle.
Doesn't matter.
Right. Like, honestly, and that's why I had such a hard time defining my sexuality for a long time. Like, I came out as agender, which was basically none of the above. And my sexuality is like demi-pansexual, which is like all of the above, but under very specific circumstances. You know, and a lot of homework first. But, you know, so it's all these amorphous pockets because, like, how do you define, at a certain point in my life, how do I define beauty, you know, in such a broad scope thing that, like, oh, I only date brunettes, or, like, I want someone who's shaped like this. And I'm like, I don't care about the shape or the hair color or the accent or the tattoos and piercings and, like, how they dress, and like, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Are they an asshole?
Yeah.
In a not endearing way.
Yeah.
You know, like, are they going to treat me with respect? Are they going to be a safe place for me? Can I be a safe place for them? Yeah. That's all I care about. What the meat suit looks like is largely irrelevant.
Yeah. Are they kind?
Yes.
Are they generous with their affection?
Yeah.
Are they generous with their time?
Are they authentic?
Are they authentic? Do they know who they are?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they playing a role that they think will get them something?
Right. Exactly.
You know, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
You know.
Are they discovering and unlearning their traumas from their childhood too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are they seeking to know more about themselves for themselves and not as a way to either service or manipulate other people?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also an extra layer in relationships, is like, you are only good as what you can provide for other people. Yeah. And you are only as good as what you can make other people do for you. Yeah. You know? And fuck all of that shit.
That's a dominance-based mentality.
Exactly. Yeah. Because in that like relationship scheme, that's power. Mm-hmm. And power makes people who are afraid feel safe. Mm-hmm. And that kind of takes it all the way back to like, people just need to be less afraid of stuff. Yeah. You know? Fear rules everything. Yeah. Everything we do that's bad.
Oh yeah. and if you do something that you're scared about, mm-hmm. and you do the thing and it's not that bad, yeah, you can do the thing again. Yeah, exactly. And then it's practice. You're never going to be perfect at anything the first time you do it. This is art, singing, making food, sex, what have you, sex. Oh my God,
nobody was good the first time. You know, nobody was good the first time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's everything is a journey. Everything is an opportunity for learning more about you and about another person and your place in the universe.
Yeah, I like this. I can't see the name of the person who quoted it, but the ask not how can I get people to date me, and ask how can I become someone worth dating. Yes, like yes, worry about your damn self.
Also, hi Cloud Havoc and ResonantMoon. Yay! Hello. The whole Andrew Tate. Just the whole pickup artist idea. Mm-hmm. It is a dominance based, shallow, empty activity.
It's so revolting.
There is no connection. Mm-mm. There is. I mean, why do you need a human woman for your penis?
Right. When you have so many options. That's what you picked.
Right? Oh my God, there are so many sex toys on the market for guys now. Right. It's insane. Really, please investigate.
Literally, they make toys for everybody. I get that's why Rule 34 exists. Like, there needs to be one about toys too.
Oh yeah.
If you need it, there's a toy that does it. Guaranteed. Go look it up.
Oh yeah. If you have a need, the market will supply.
Exactly.
Oh, it is so good to have you here, and it's so good to be able to talk to you about this.
And I'm really, really happy that we did this. I get really nervous talking to like groups of people. Yeah. But I have a lot of opinions, mm-hmm. and like I'm not any sort of like artsy savant or anything like that. I don't have, degrees and shit that I can talk about with confidence, but like I realize that my special interests aren't things like history or data or whatever. It's my special interests are people, humanity, the lived experience of my meat suit and its friends. Mm-hmm. And we all just need to talk more. And I like setting an example, even though it scares the shit out of me. And I can afford to set that example because I have a life filled with people who are here to support me. Yes. And allow me to be vulnerable and allow me to be a safe space for them as much as they are a safe space for me. Yeah. It starts with us, and we just have to do it one person at a time until it's more of us than there are of the other thing.
Yeah. And it's you're going to see a lot of people that will craft a personality to get clicks. Yep. That's not what this is.
Mm-mm.
This is I could give a fuck if there's money involved here.
Sure, this is literally friends talking about some shit for funsies, but also on the internet.
Yeah, you know, and it's the more that we talk about our shared experiences, the more that we're going to understand that it's not that it's not something to be ashamed of. There are a whole lot more people in the world that are into what you're into, or that feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
But you're not going to know that unless you reach out.
Yeah.
You know,
we don't know what's out there unless somebody has shared it with us.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to hear your story and go, "Hey, that resonates with me. I'm going to go look that up."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're off on their own journey.
Yeah.
You know?
And you become a catalyst for change in society.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be big, broad scope movements or, you know, sweeping, visible activism.
Yeah.
It can be intimate activism.
Oh, yeah.
One-on-one. Every person I talk to is going to be marked by my experience. And they're going to mark my experience. And they're going to carry that with them forward in the world. So I want to make sure those experiences are worth having.
Yeah.
You know, and I leave a good impression with that person. I want them to see me this way. And I'm like, okay, they see me the way I would have wanted to be seen in that engagement and carry that positivity forward, you know, and if they can just keep doing it, we just got to help each other.
Yeah.
Can't do it alone.
And it really is so important to be seen and to be known.
Yeah.
Like truly seen and known and heard.
It's funny how many of us need to be seen, but we hate it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, being seen is so uncomfortable because people are uncomfortable with being vulnerable and being seen, and that's exactly what that is.
Well, and you have the energetic that I kind of call the system moves to protect itself.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you step outside some of the normative ways of doing things, people will come out of the fucking woodwork.
Everybody's got
man,
opinions.
You should wear that color. But, you know, maybe your hair shouldn't be like that, or maybe your clothes shouldn't be like that.
Are you gonna wear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you pregnant? Are you gonna have kids?
Right.
Like all of these. Why?
Yeah. Why is any of this your business, and why was that necessary? I'm not commenting on literally anything about you, but you feel the need to insert yourself into my space and my life without asking. Yeah. Because you have opinions about my life that literally doesn't affect you in any way.
Exactly.
I don't know you. Why do you care who I fuck?
Well, it's like it's the thing with authenticity is that when it exists, conservatism loses its fucking mind.
Oh, it does. It panics so hard.
You know, because we provide an example of something other.
Yeah.
You know.
And it takes the good examples to be scary.
Yeah.
Because they're not afraid of the bad examples, because the bad examples are all the bad examples that other people see and they're go, "Oh, that's poly, that's gross and like fucked up." And it's like, that's not what that's supposed to be. Yeah. That's a bad example.
Well, and it's why they rail, it's why so many people that are against authenticity rail against relationships that don't meet the exact normative.
Yep.
Presentations of how one chooses to look that doesn't stay within a clearly defined gender construct.
Yeah.
And you
they
even
hate
have well, and it's even within other communities as well. You know, I mean, it's you're not dressing trans enough, or
right? Oh my God,
you're not dressing non-binary enough.
I'm sorry. Could you please do one gay for this person?
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah, there is no wrong way to be who you are.
Yeah.
Except for don't fucking abuse people.
Right, yeah.
That
don't
is
treat
wrong.
People like shit.
Who gives a shit what you look like? Just be a decent person.
Right.
Be a self-kind, generous person.
Yeah. Treat other people with respect. You know?
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Cloud Havoc had a friend who they thought was trustworthy because they shared stuff, and when they thought it was okay to do the same, it backfired. I'm really sorry that happened to you. That is very painful.
That's harsh.
I am so sorry that you had that experience. I am so sorry that you did not have somebody that was equally comfortable and vulnerable enough with you to hold space for an uncomfortable conversation that you needed to have.
And I hope that you find better going forward.
Yeah, I do too. Something sky person say bad in 1,000-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Sky Daddy say no.
Sky Daddy say no.
Oh, is there? They're not women's clothes. They're my clothes. I bought them. Yes, exactly. Right. Mm-hmm. Like who decided that a dress is feminine?
Yeah.
Like who I wasn't there for that meeting.
Right. You know.
I didn't. Nobody asked me for my opinion.
Exactly. It just, I think that there needs to be more graciousness in the world. Mm-hmm. We need to go easier.
More compassion
with each other, you know.
And more empathy.
Yes. Yeah, there are so many people who are getting involved in these they look like verbal wars. Just the most horrible things are being said and shared.
Yeah.
And if you don't like something, maybe don't be a troll about it.
Right.
You know, maybe don't say something that is
inflammatory.
Or meant to provoke a reaction.
Yeah, or escalate a situation. Like, don't just throw... Because it always happens from behind the security of, like, a computer screen.
Yeah.
You know? Like, oh, I'm safe back here. They can't actually physically punch me in the face for saying this super awful thing to someone.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say whatever because nobody can touch me. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not how you bond with people. And really, those people just want to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
And they just don't know how. And so they're being assholes about it. But it rolls back to fear.
Well, it's all trauma response.
Exactly.
You know, we all endure trauma throughout our entire lives. You know, I mean, it's
existence is traumatic.
Exactly. You know,
physiologically and psychologically.
Oh yeah.
We are literally decaying every single day.
Yeah.
Organically.
My God, Lady Amalfi, I can feel this body dying. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. You know, and the only way that you're going to get on the other end of that is if you have people in your life that you can talk through it with.
Yes.
And it is the way I like to put it is carefully tend to your mirrors. Other people can be mirrors for you to see yourself accurately.
Absolutely.
Other people who are abusive and are not comfortable with their place in the world and are basically bundles of trauma response will show you a shattered mirror.
Yeah.
But the people in your life that you can talk to and you can be really vulnerable with will be a clear, reflected surface. Treasure those people.
Yes, treat them well.
And be a clear mirror for them too. Because it's how we check in with each other.
Yeah.
Am I being a dick today? Am I being nice today?
Right. Am I that asshole?
Exactly.
Like, you know, I talk about being, you know, the fucking liberal, idealistic, dirty hippie that I am, but sometimes I am that asshole.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes I say some shit that's super off color, like, you know, or inappropriate or hurtful or something, and like it's never intentional, but you know, I don't always words good, you know, and I need people to call me on my shit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, please. You know,
nobody's exempt.
Exactly. And if someone calls you on a behavior or a thing that you said, maybe kind of think about it.
Yeah, don't be immediately violently offended.
Yeah.
You know, take a minute to be like, okay, what would make them say that?
Yeah.
Why might they think that? You know, and not just immediately go, well, of course not, and dismiss it.
You know, especially if it's a person that you respect.
Yeah, and care about.
Yeah.
Like, we can be better than that. We just have to be better than that.
Yes. Yes.
We just have to choose to be better than that.
And if enough of us choose to be better at that, it's like that Wella hair commercial back in the 80s. You tell two friends and they tell two friends and so on and so on.
God, it sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Doesn't wait. I know, right? It's a gender pyramid scheme.
Holy shit. God, gender is a fucking pyramid scheme. Someone in the comments figure out how that works. I want to know.
Oh, we have done this for almost 2 hours.
I'm so proud of us.
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow. High five.
High five. Fuck yeah. Right.
This is good.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I guess our chat's like super active. I don't know like how long these usually go for, but like did anybody in the chat have any like questions or anything they, want to know? Or
Yeah, or
ask an autistic agender person questions? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking come at me, but don't come at me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good thing to be, Cloud Havoc. When someone tells me what they're into, after that trust has been gained, I'm that curious questionnaire person. Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. You want to know more.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's and that's good for literally all of the relationships in your life.
I get a lot of shit for asking too many questions, but I can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Resonant Moon. Yay!
Yay!
You're so awesome. You're my favorite.
Snaps. I started doing that again recently. I don't remember where it came back from, but like instead of applause, like somebody in one of my overlapping social circles just started doing snaps instead of applause, and I'm like, oh shit, we're bringing that back.
Oh,
all right,
yep,
cool. I'm here for that.
Oh yeah. Oh. The one thing that I can tell you is that when you find yourself in that first relationship with a person who meets you where you are and shows you consideration and is kind and is vulnerable with you in turn so that you can fall and be caught by each other, it's going to make you reevaluate all of the other connections you've ever had and the way that they've made you feel throughout the course of your life.
It changes the whole game.
It really does.
The whole entire game. You're going to go back and Rolodex your fucking life experience and just be like, oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't know we could do this.
That was an option the whole time?
Right? Nobody was on the form. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of scary in the beginning, because you're like, okay, this is too good, because we've been taught if something is too good, then snicked, it's going to be taken away, right?
Absolutely.
And so we internalize that, and then we sabotage our relationships with it.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, that's a perfect segue. Resonant had a question. When in compersion, happiness at your partner's happiness that doesn't include you, how do you also comfort your potential loneliness?
That's a really good question.
Absolutely. That is a great fucking question. And I will say, I know we didn't touch on it very much earlier, but this is the perfect time to talk about it. That whole experience of like my partner is out doing something with their partner and it does not include me, and I am home alone watching TV by myself. Like, I'm not doing anything with anybody else. I'm not going anywhere. I am by myself. Yeah. How do you combat that loneliness? Like, honestly, on the one hand, talk to your partner about how you feel. Maybe not exactly at that moment, because sometimes it's not a good idea to spend the entire time that they are with their partner telling them that you are feeling, potentially awkward feelings while they're with their... Because, like, then you're taking time away from them being to enjoy... Wow. Taking time away from them to enjoy being with the other person. God, English betrayed me so hard on that.
I hate it when that happens.
But yeah, honestly, for me, it is finding things to do with my time that bring me joy, that are not being used specifically as a distraction because like, I may feel some fucking FOMO if one of my partners goes out and I didn't have a date that night and I'm, feeling kind of like I just want to be around somebody or whatever, but like all of my plans fell through, and so I just like ended up at home by myself. Like, I could totally allow myself to just spiral into a fucking funky jealous depression and like just really make myself feel like shit, make my partners feel like shit, and just lash out about it. Or I could cuddle into my bed with my giant charcuterie snackle box. I could watch a movie that I love or a TV show that I love and be comfortable. I could do my paint by numbers. I could, play with my poi. I could hang out with the dog. Like, there are so many things that I can do in my life to spend my time on that actively bring me joy. I don't want to spend that time feeding, jealousy and fear.
Yeah.
Because that's a fucking waste of my time. Like, why would I choose to live in fear and jealousy when instead I could be super comfy in bed with snacks and a pet? You know? Like, and yeah, you know, and then I'll talk to my partner later and be like, hey, I was feeling kind of left out, but I'm not mad at you because, like, you didn't fuck up anything. I was just feeling some kind of way, and I just wanted to tell you about it. And everything's cool, and I worked it out, and it's all good. But, like, letting your partner know that that's what goes on in your head is not bad. Feeling
it's
like
essential
you
because,
are,
you know, if they don't know how you feel, how can they respond in a way that is helpful for you?
Exactly. They need to know that it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, but using it as a way to manipulate people is not okay. Yeah. And that's why people get afraid to talk about that stuff, because they always assume that something bad is going to happen because other people have made it bad for them when they did it before.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's usually it's because somebody has expressed a need and there was a negative reaction, whether it was a terse interchange or whether it was raised voice, actual violence, you know, a threat, you know, like a veiled threat. You know, why are we talking about this? What are you, stupid? You know, it's
or gaslighting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And what's fun about that is that, like, people who have been gaslit also can go on to gaslight other people unintentionally, and trying to figure out in a conversation whether they're gaslighting you or you're gaslighting yourself is, like, almost impossible sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you have that trauma of that lived experience where your communication with that person was literally the least ideal possible.
Yeah.
And you got traumatized by it. So now you're in a similar situation, and instead you can just choose vulnerability and compassion instead of fear. Yeah. And eventually maybe it'll end up better.
Yeah.
It takes time. None of this shit happens overnight.
Yeah.
You know, I just turned 34, you know, I'm like fucking, you know, I haven't been doing this that long. And also I've been doing it long enough to be able to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think Slippery just said, I experienced a level of compassion from one of my partners recently I didn't even know existed, and it left me nearly in pieces trying to understand that level of acceptance and mutual vulnerability. I feel you so hard.
Oh, mood.
On that. I feel you so hard on that.
Mood.
It can get nail bitey.
Oh yeah, it can get scary as fuck.
Yeah. And every single time you choose vulnerability, man, you're doing yourself a favor.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
look out for future you.
Yeah, definitely. On the expressing needs piece, they don't always have to be met with hostility to be hurtful.
Yes.
Just feeling like your needs are not being taken seriously can be devastating and much harder to see. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The hardest thing for me in a conversation with a person when I am trying to be vulnerable is when I feel like that person is dismissing my vulnerability. Oof. You know, like the second I start to feel like that person isn't taking me seriously, like I immediately start to crumble, like emotionally, and I know that like this is just not going to be a productive conversation. I'm not going to get what I need out of this. Like, you know, conversationally. But being able to just, you know, be with that person where they're at and allowing them to feel valid. Yeah. And, like, heard and seen is so fucking important.
It really is. And you can tell when somebody's getting a little more intense than usual with their feel. You can tell.
Yeah, when you know somebody for a while and you've built a deep connection with them, like, you know, and you know what? Sometimes you can't. Yeah. You know, you may not have noticed it. Yeah. I came to terms, you know, recently when I realized that I was autistic, like, I miss a lot of shit. I operate very violently between, I have no idea what's going on, and I need you to explain it to me like I'm 5, but not in a patronizing way. And I know exactly what's going on, but you don't know what's going on, and you're not ready to hear what I know. So I have to sit on that and continue through this conversation. So when people are trying to communicate with me in relationships, I like to think I'm picking up what they're putting down, and I understand what the message they're trying to convey to me.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many times where I am so off the mark. Like, I think we're over here, and turns out we're, like, all the way on the other side of the screen over here.
I've been there far too many times.
Right, exactly. And in a lot of those instances, I end up being the asshole.
Yeah.
And not on purpose, not because I'm being malicious or anything, or trying to be hurtful, but I genuinely don't understand. My brain is weird. And so as long as that person is willing to walk with me through that conversation and allow me to get the things I need to understand what's going on, then I can be there for them. Then I can give them the thing they're looking for in that interaction.
Yeah.
And not just assume I know what they need, throw it at them, and they get mad when they don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
One of the ways that several friends of mine, we've chosen whenever we're talking about something that's kind of fraught, it'll usually be like, okay, do you need to vent?
Right.
Or do you need solutions?
Oh my God.
And that is immense.
And that was a good time back too, because we mentioned that earlier in the stream.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, like if people could just, even it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the conversation if you haven't realized that it needs to happen. Sometimes you forget. You get halfway through the conversation and you realize, oh wait, I didn't know what I needed. Now I know what I need.
Yeah.
Say it then.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the presence of mind and emotional ability to preface what you're about to say, God, please do that.
Yes, please.
Because you'll get such different results from the people you're talking to when you have given them the idea of, like, what you want out of that conversation at a very basic level.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not going to sit here throwing at solutions at somebody that really just wants to vent.
Yeah.
I am here for you to vent, but I need to know that's what you need, because otherwise I'm going to piss you off giving you solution ideas when that's not what you need from me. Or worse, you want solutions and I'm just sitting here going, yeah, it sucks. That's really shitty. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, oh, you wanted ideas. Oh, I need to know that so that my brain knows, like, what to generate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's see if we have done.
We did that one.
How do you, yeah, I mean, it's, hang on.
Yeah, I'm catching up in the chat.
All right, yeah, I'm just, that MK Ultra's hitting.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Brain go burr.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. That's
buddy.
right,
Yeah, I'm not your buddy guy. Not your guy, friend.
Buddy, guy, hey, guy, buddy. Oh my God. Do we want to keep going?
I mean, if there's stuff people want to know, I'm down to go for a little bit. But if this is a natural conclusion, then this can be a natural conclusion.
Yeah. How's everybody feeling? Because I'm tired.
I'm not.
I could keep
Please,
going.
you want to talk about identities? I identify as tired.
Oh yeah.
Just in my soul.
Oh yeah.
On the interior part.
Bone tired.
Bone tired.
Oh, yeah.
Soul tired. But this was very fun.
Yes, it was.
This was lovely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We should do this again sometime.
Yes, we will do it again.
I'll think of more things that I can prattle on about for an hour and a half.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Slippery Disc. Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, and thanks for hanging out in the chat and, like, asking questions and stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Spread the word.
Yes.
Jada's going to have more people on here.
Oh, yes. And the topics that are going to be coming up, the Inquisition.
Oh.
Wait. Let me look at my calendar. So on Saturday, the 17th at 6 p.m., will be how pandemics change how we organize cities.
Ooh.
And then
that is delightfully specific.
Right?
Oh,
right?
I love that.
Yeah. I got another one on Saturday, February 24th at 6 p.m. Donna Barr will be coming by, and she will be talking, her drink of choice will be tequila.
Ooh.
And she'll be talking about stuff I can't prove but is probably true about Shakespeare, Lincoln, and the U.S. Army and Alabama pork producers.
Oh my God. I love, you have started such a wonderful thing here, Jada, because, like, you're like, what weird specific things do you want to talk a lot about that, like, when you start to talk about a normal conversation, people are like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Or like nobody asked you, or like that's not relevant, or why do you know
yeah.
so much weirdly specific information about this one very obscure niche topic?
Which I love, though. But
I
mean,
love that.
just...
We need more people to talk about their weird niche experiences.
Yeah.
Connect.
So, definitely connect. We gotta share our stories.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Don't be afraid to share your story.
Yeah.
Other people need to hear it.
I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's been un plaisir. Have a wonderful night.